Hello everyone, I'm Babla Jonathan and this is the 6 p.m. primetime newscast over Equinoxe television. We're coming to you from our headquarters in Cameroon's economic capital Douala. In our top stories in this edition of the news, wild flames have consumed a section of the Bamenda regional hospital. The fire incident caused enormous material damage to the health facility in the capital of the crisis-stricken northwest region of the Republic of Cameroon. The Archbishop of the Douala Metropolitan Archdiocese of the Roman Catholic Church, His Grace Samuel Kleda, has denounced the poor or inhumane detention conditions in incarceration centers in the Republic of Cameroon. He has called on the authorities to give a human face to the detention centers across the country. And in sports, Ivory Coast is currently playing against Norway in the first half of their historic FIFA World Cup 2026 round of 16 match. Stay with us. Thank you for joining us. A major fire incident has damaged an administrative block of the Bamenda Regional Hospital in the northwest region of Cameroon, destroying several offices and causing heavy material losses. Authorities said the cause of the blaze is still under investigation, while patient care at the hospital has continued despite the destruction. Bookstella reports from Bamenda.
As flames engulfed part of Bamenda Regional Hospital's administrative block on Monday night, staff raced against time to save what they could.
I was in D ward with my patient. So when I saw the flame, I came out, tried to fight with the fire. So as you can see, even this finger, I struggled to use the fire extinguisher. I used the fire extinguisher. The first one, I finished it. The second one, I finished it. Then the third one, that hurt my hand, because I was struggling. The fire was too much.
By Tuesday morning, the flames had been extinguished, but the scale of the destruction was becoming clear. Inside the blackened building, collapsed chairs, twisted metals and melted computers lay scattered across floors blanketed in ash. The blaze gutted the hospital's conference hall, the medical advisor's office, the general supervisor's office, the social action service, the medical statistics and ICT unit, the chaplaincy, the library, and the human resources office. For many employees, these offices formed the administrative backbone of the hospital, where patient records were managed, medical data processed, and vulnerable families received vital support. Regional authorities who toured the site described the fire as a major setback and announced emergency measures to restore the hospital's administrative services.
The situation is really preoccupying, and I'm therefore asking the regional delegate in charge of land to study fast the file that will be forwarded to hierarchy for funds to be made available to rebuild back as fast as possible this building.
Despite the destruction, doctors and nurses have continued caring for patients. Hospital authorities say while the fire has disrupted some administrative functions, healthcare services have remained operational. Although the exact cause of the fire has not been established, hospital officials say repeated fluctuations in electricity supply were reported before the blaze broke out.
Gendarme officers in the West Regional Capital Bafoussam have dismantled a clandestine brewery hidden in a house in the Toket neighborhood. The illegal operation was using the illegal business. People were using well water, chemicals, and fake labels to produce drinks widely sold to the public. Authorities say the seizure is a warning about the dangers of adulterated drinks and are urging consumers to stay vigilant. For me, Armstrong Sander has more.
Tucked away at the end of the steep path in the Toket neighborhood of Bafoussam in the west region of Cameroon, this ordinary-looking house was hiding something far from the ordinary. What appeared to be a simple home was in fact a clandestine brewery company. Crates of beers lined the walls, empty bottles were carefully hidden in the grass or to avoid raising suspicion.
Voici les emballages de ce vin que les gens consomment beaucoup.
Chemicals inside, gendarmerie officials discovered a well. Residents say its water was used to brew the drinks. On one table, chemicals that only the operators understood. On another table, stamps, documents, and capping machines used to seal and label the bottles for sale. The setup was well designed to look legitimate. Gendarmerie officials of the West have just dismantled this factory with highly consumed drinks seized.
Nous sommes tombés sur cette usine d'un autre genre.
Authorities on their part say they are thankful to the local population. While commending the collaboration shown by the local population, the men in uniform and local administrators called on consumers to remain vigilant.
C'est l'occasion pour nous ici d'en appeler à la vigilance.
Behind the hidden walls, a well-oiled fraud now dismantled. The gendarmerie says this case is a reminder of the dangers of adulterated drinks across Cameroon. And the message is clear: vigilance, because the worst can sometimes be hidden in a simple house.
De mettre la main sur tous ceux qui sont impliqués dans cette chaîne.
Officials say the hunt for other illegal laboratories in the region will continue.
The Archbishop of the Douala Metropolitan Archdiocese of the Roman Catholic Church, His Grace Samuel Kleda, is raising grave concerns over arbitrary arrest, overcrowded prison cells, and prisoners waiting for years to be tried in Cameroon. In a new pastoral letter, Archbishop Samuel Kleda is denouncing Cameroon's prison conditions and demanding urgent reforms. Once more, for me, Armstrong Sander has greater details.
In his letter titled Prison Conditions, a call to conversion for humanization of prisons in Cameroon, grounded on Matthew chapter 25 verse 36, I was in prison, you came to me. The Archbishop says the treatment of detainees is not just a legal issue, but a moral and spiritual one for the entire nation, Cameroon.
Même s'ils sont des prisonniers, mais leur dignité doit être respectée.
Archbishop Samuel Kleda denounced what he called dehumanizing conditions. He cited arbitrary arrests and disappearances, often without warrant or notice to families. He also condemns overcrowded, poorly ventilated cells, lacking water, food, and hygiene in police stations and gendarmerie brigades across the country.
Mais tout leur manque. Mais beaucoup meurent, beaucoup meurent.
Bishop Samuel Kleda further highlighted severe overcrowding in prisons, prolonged preventive detentions for people awaiting trial, and breakdowns in the judicial system that delay fair hearings.
Mais un texte pareil dans la loi, mais doit être enlevé. Quelqu'un qui a purgé sa peine, mais on le fait sortir.
He is calling on authorities in Cameroon to end secret detentions, guarantee legal registrations of every arrest, reform the penitentiary system, expand alternatives to prisons for minor offenses, and create an independent commission to assess the justice chain in the country. Closing his letter, the Archbishop said to ignore the suffering of a prisoner is to ignore Christ, and to work to relieve that distress and to restore justice is to serve Christ.
Avoir un autre regard sur ces gens, sur les prisonniers.
Cameroon's opposition party, the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, is dismissing claims that its leadership is illegal. The party insists its extraordinary convention and the return of Professor Maurice Kamto to the leadership of the party as president of the party, of course, were conducted in full compliance with the law, accusing its political opponents of spreading misinformation. Immaculate Fobe reports.
The Cameroon Renaissance Movement political party is pushing back strongly against claims questioning the legality of its extraordinary convention held on December 21, 2025, and the reinstatement of its leader, Professor Maurice Kamto. The party says these allegations are politically motivated and without legal basis.
Un auteur de fiction grossière à longueur de plateaux de télévision et de publications.
The first vice president of the CRM party, Mamadou Mota, insists that all internal procedures were followed according to the party's constitution and in line with administrative requirements. He maintains that official notifications and documents were transmitted to the relevant authorities with no formal objections. He adds that those who claim otherwise are simply ignoring the facts.
De la diversion. Quand on est incapable de masquer ses propres faillites, on invente des crises.
The party leadership is also accusing its political opponents of what it calls a coordinated campaign of misinformation aimed at undermining its credibility ahead of key political deadlines. CRM officials say such narratives are designed to distract from national issues and weaken opposition momentum. They further argue that the absence of administrative challenges within the legal framework reinforces the validity of their internal decisions. At the same time, they denounce what they describe as growing pressure on opposition parties and restrictions on political expression.
S'ils sont si forts, s'ils sont si sûrs de leur popularité,
the CR remains focused on its political agenda. Despite controversy, we are committed to continue mobilizing and preparing for upcoming electoral elections.
Et policière. À cela et à cela seul, nous.
As political tensions continue to rise ahead of future electoral deadlines, the CRM insists it will continue its activities, rejecting all claims questioning its legitimacy and reaffirming its commitment to what it calls the path of political change.
The first vice president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, Mamadou Mota, was a guest in last Sunday's edition of our flagship program, La Vérité en Face. And let me bring to you now an extract of what Mamadou Mota said during that program concerning the return of Professor Maurice Kamto and the respect of the internal rules and regulations of the party. Take a listen.
The trip is like the way that leads to Golgotha, so leaving the Fano to Douala is 4 days on the road, and you can imagine the difficulty we can face between Garwa and Gaoundéré is hell. So
the state of the roads are bad.
Very bad, very bad. Is why I say is like carrying Jesus to Golgotha. So it's not easy. Our rules and status of our political party were fully respected. I am the one who called for the National Congress, and during that Congress, the administration has chosen the option to ban our Congress, and we hold it online. We are in 21st century. We have to move. We will not accept to stay like what this regime wants us to be. They don't have the power to teach us what we have to do with our party.
A Congress online,
yeah.
Is it in agreement or in line with the internal rules and regulations of the party?
Let me tell you, yes, without any doubt. It's written black on white in our status. Everybody can see it. And when we did it, we sent all the documents to the administration. They asked us some questions and we gave them a response. So the position of Maurice Kamto in CRM is fully legal.
What was the urgency bringing him back to the leadership of the party shortly after what happened with the presidential election, with his candidacy that was rejected and he was kicked out of the competition?
It's not an urgency, it's a matter of leadership. We were in a time of trouble, and when the weather is not good, you need a good captain, and is the reason why.
Are you not a good captain?
I am not the one who will answer to that.
You were the interim of the party at that time.
I am not the one who will answer to this question, but the members of CMM are the one who could answer rightly, because maybe my answer will be subjective, I don't know, but I know how to manage a team. I know how to manage political party. It's not the first time I'm holding the head of CRM as an as the second president. So I'm used to that exercise. It's not the first time. In 2018, when the professor president was arrested, I was the one who lead the party. So if they ask me my resume to a position of a president, I think my resume will be accepted. So in terms of experience, I have the experience, so there is nothing to worry about. But we need the leadership of Maurice Kamto at that moment. I am the one who told him, President, I think you must come, because even me, I was not in the country, I was abroad. And it will not be easy for us that we are not together, even if we have our directorate that can lead the daily functioning of our party. We need the leadership of somebody like Maurice Kamto in the time of where people are hesitating, they don't know if he will come back or not. It's not a matter of urgency, it's a matter of strategy and management. Maurice Kamto is our bridge. He's the anchor of CRM in the time of trouble.
At what time did you update the internal rules and regulations of the CRM to create the legal environment for Professor Maurice Kamto's return to the leadership of the party?
You know, it's before Maurice Kamto will be calm, and we will organize our Congress to choose him as the leader of our political party.
That was an extract of the program La Vérité en Face, and during that program, the first vice president of the Cameroon Renaissance Movement, CRM political party, also talked about the difficulties that commuters are facing moving from the northern parts of the country down south as a result of the bad state of the roads in that part of the country. And this is a problem that cuts across the national territory from the major cities to the hinterlands. Many of the roads are in a horrible, in a deplorable state. Take a listen to what Mamadou Mota said concerning his experience traveling from the northern parts of the country down south to partake in that program, to be a guest in La Vérité en Face.
Trip is like the way that lead to Golgotha. So leaving Defano to Douala is 4 days on the road, and you can imagine the difficulty we can face between Garwa and Gaoundéré is hell. So
the state of the roads are bad.
Very bad, very bad. Is why I say is like carrying Jesus to Golgotha. So it's not easy. If a pregnant woman take that road, I think she will give birth on the road. The problem is a mismanagement leading by this government, because the aim of this regime now is to survive, not to build infrastructure that are helpful for the population.
Climate change is intensifying across Africa with rising sea levels, prolonged drought, devastating floods, and extreme heat increasingly threatening communities, food production, and livelihoods. And in response, Cameroon hosts a landmark scientific initiative aimed at equipping African researchers with the tools to better understand and tackle these growing challenges. Equinoxe tells us more.
Africa remains one of the world's most climate vulnerable regions, according to organizers. Coastal flooding, erosion, water scarcity, marine heat waves, and rising urban temperatures are becoming more frequent, while countries like Cameroon face increasing risk from sea level rise and rapid urbanization, particularly along the Gulf of Guinea.
Africa is the most growing population in the world, so we have pressing need. You have a youth generation coming along the way. So the idea was to gather all these well-known scientists together, try to raise the main concerns that are facing on the continent.
To help address these threats, the African Institute for Mathematical Sciences is hosting Africa's first geodesy for a resilient Africa summer school in Limbe.
Geodesy is a tool which involves instruments and mathematics. And so, for instance, we look at the gravity field of the Earth, because the ocean circulates because of its own density, its own weight. And so we need to know the gravity field to know how the ocean is going to circulate. Positioning on the Earth, it means navigation, which allows us to position our satellites or to position the target, like where are we measuring.
The 5-day program brings together 30 researchers from 13 African countries for intensive training in satellite observation, geodesy and earth science.
The idea of this summer school is to give the necessary tools to strengthen the skills of African students, come out with a solution from their various institutions once back home, just to a kind of preparedness to what's going to happen or what is already happening, to address what you are facing instead of waiting what will come from the outreach, instead of from brotherhood and continent.
And that's it for this edition of the news. Thank you so much for staying with us. Equinoxe will be coming up by 7 p.m. with Juval Fangwa and his guests. Do stay with us. God bless Cameroon. God bless Africa. Goodbye.